Hello, listeners. Here we are again. This is
Yes.
Can We Talk? Another week has gone by, and here we are with Charles Scott
Jr. How you guys doing? That's how we do it. That's our intro. You do it, and I say Charles Scott Jr. All right, so we just want to say hi to everybody. Hope you're subscribed, and we're doing our weekly episode of Can We Talk, where we talk about not just real estate, but business and other things that affect your life.
There's a lot of things that are going on every week, and you should try also and see us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of the different things out there.
Yes.
We also advise you to look up some of our past issues or some of our past broadcasts, because we talk about the real estate industry, we talk about the economy, some of the things that can save you money.
Yes.
Some of the things, and it's good for renters and for homeowners, or anything pertaining to maybe real estate, or not only that, the economy. If you're out there buying and you're spending money, we talk about some of the things that are happening with inflation,
Yes.
stock market. Basically, we're sort of like a financial center to try and help you with your investments and some of the things that you might do to help improve your life.
Yeah, because if you don't pay attention to these things, they're going to affect you in the long run anyway. Whether you pay attention to the interest rate or not, you're going to see your car payments go up, your interest rate payments go on your credit card. When you apply for some furniture or anything, you're going to see that the interest rate that the Federal Reserve sets makes the other things fall into place.
Today we're going to talk a little bit about some things that you can do to help you with your credit. And in the past episodes, we said that we wanted to give some leeway also to the renters. Right now, the rental market is, the turnover as far as changes within the rental market is drastic. And so therefore, we want to give you some pointers that can maybe give you a little bit of an edge if you're out there looking for an apartment. We get a lot of people that call us for an apartment.
Yes.
And some of the questions that we ask them, they're totally unprepared for what's out there and what some of the things that you may be asked, especially if you have been in the same apartment for the last 10, sometimes 15 people in the same apartment.
I'll say 24 years. I helped someone get an apartment. They were there since 1998. So some long-term renters.
The market's changed. It's changed drastically in just about the last 2 years, much less if you were in an apartment for the last 10 or 15 or 20 years.
Yes. What I would say, gone are the days of meeting the landlord or the real estate agent at the apartment the same day and having the money ready to go and moving in that same night. There's a big vetting process now.
So what we're going to do today is, in the last episodes, we talked about some things for the homeowners out there if you're looking to sell your house, that you can improve your house.
Yes.
And we had an episode on the outside, exterior, interior, how to improve the property. We're going to talk a little bit now about some of the things that you need to do in your lower level. Let's say your basement or even your attic. And so we're going to just envision yourself, you walk through the house, now you've gone downstairs into the basement. Some of the things that we want to give you an idea and some of the tips. First of all, if you have a lower level, make sure you got a handrail.
Yes, definitely.
If you've got steps and you're headed downstairs, get yourself a handrail and make sure that the handrail is there. Now, it doesn't cost a lot of money for a handrail.
Not at all.
A couple of hand brackets and a pole.
Exactly.
And you can screw it up against the wall. But it's a safety issue that's going to be required by the mortgage company, and you should have it anyway.
And I will say, if you're getting a buyer that has an FHA mortgage, they're going to look for things like that for safety concerns, like handrails, make sure all the steps are supported. We've had one sale last year. They made us put a support on the stairs, remember, in the back, to make sure it doesn't collapse in the middle.
Yep. The other thing is make sure that your basement is well lit.
Yes.
I don't know how many basements we go into where the light bulbs are dead, or the sockets don't work.
Exactly.
So when you go into your basement, make sure that it's well lit. Some of them have the switches, some of them have the pull chains.
Yeah.
But with the technology today, one of the nice things is that you can get these lamps or lights that are motion activated and we can use batteries.
LED lights.
LED lights.
And they stick to any material. You can put them on the ceilings, throughout the hallway. And they also sell these light bulbs that have the pull chain built in. You can pull it and then turn them on, and those are also motion detected.
And they come with batteries also. So you don't have to, on this program, we're trying to give you a lot of ideas that you can improve your property and not spend a lot of money.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, the old days, you had to come and hire an electrician. The electrician had to get a permit, then they had to wire throughout the basement to
Exactly.
put lighting in. And can you imagine what that would cost when now you can go into places like Lowe's, Home Depot, buy the light, come, take a couple screws, boom, boom, stick
Yes.
it on the wall, throw a battery in it, you've got a light.
Exactly. And it's good to have a well-lit basement just for you don't want accidents to happen. I mean, if you give your tenants access to the basement, they fall down the stairs, I mean, that could be, you could be liable.
The other thing you want to do is clean out the basement.
Yes.
In other words, clean it out the basement. If you're a landlord, as you know, and if you've given the tenant permission to use the basement, people start storing things.
Oh, yes.
You know, you give a person a space and it accumulates. With a lot of times, things that are of no value, it's the person saying, oh, I'm going to throw this out, but maybe I'll keep it. So they put it into the basement. It might have been there for 10 years.
Oh, yeah. What I see as I come across apartments and landlords, a lot of bicycles downstairs, Christmas trees, stuff that, you know, seasonal maybe. But the thing is, sometimes when the things become, or the kids move out the house, those things stay down there and become rusty and just take up space.
What's worse is that your kids come home and store stuff in your basement that they can't store in their apartment.
Exactly. That happens a lot too.
So one of the things you want to do is, you know, clean out your basement. Go down in there, you know, the cities have some days where you can come and put stuff out, and they'll come and they'll pick it up for free.
Oh, yes.
If not, if you're a homeowner, you're allowed to go to the dump, and they don't even charge you because you can show them your driver's license.
Well, I would say it depends on the city in Connecticut, because Meriden, I know, charges. Waterbury has 2 free ones per year.
So do that, clean out that basement, get rid of all those items down there. Plus, it's a fire
Hazard
all
also.
those things that are down there, and sometimes you have items that are stored down there, you might create a fire. So you want to keep a lot of these items, especially away from the furnace.
Now, other tip for homeowners, once you have the basement cleared out, if possible, see if you can open up some of those windows, maybe put a fan down, or just to air it out, because if you are planning on selling the house, let's say the next 6 months, what has built up in your basement, and in all basements, is radon gas. That builds up, and when you have an inspection on the house, 9 times out of 10, the inspector is going to want to do a radon test. And if that radon test comes back high, there's going to be things you have to do to remedy that.
Exactly. The radon test is something that most people should do.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't do it because they're not even aware of what radon is. It's a gas that accumulates. Just imagine if you smoking a cigarette and that smoke it goes throughout your basement. And after a while, your basement begins to smell like smoke. Well, radon gas comes up out of the ground. It's odorless, tasteless.
Yeah, you can't detect it.
It seeps through the basement and then it accumulates there. And it's said to have caused cancer. So you can go to like a hardware store and get a little test kit yourself. And you
Oh, yes.
leave it in your basement for like 3 days, and then you can send it off to the lab, and it'll measure the amount of radon that
Exactly.
you have within your basement. So one of the things also you want to do in your basement, check your oil tanks. If you've got an oil tank, there's nothing worse than an oil tank with a drip, and then you go down there, open the door, all you smell is oil.
You've seen that. We saw, what, an oil tank with duct tape the other day.
The other day.
If your oil tank is damaged, please have it fixed by a professional. Please don't use duct tape. Please don't.
That was the first I saw.
I've never seen that before.
It had a hole in the oil tank.
You could smell the oil. I mean, duct tape is not going to be completely 100% seal-proof.
Oil evaporates tape.
Exactly. It eats it
dissolves
up.
It eats it up.
It's acidic.
But when you open I think the occupants of the house smell it for so long that
They're nose blind to it. They did not smell it. It was a very strong smell.
sure, it's like people that I know that,
old
smoke.
kerosene,
You go in
or
a house
smoke.
and you say, well, you need to, deodorize this house. It smells of smoke. And they said, we don't smell anything.
They're nose blind to it.
you know.
It happens a lot.
They're standing there smoking a cigarette and they don't smell any smoke.
How about that?
I'm like, yeah, because you're so used to it, So, and you want to sort of air out your basement, clean up your basement. Any loose wires, hanging wires or anything like that, tack them back up there. You want to make it look attractive.
Yes.
Another thing that you could do to greatly improve a basement if you're not going to finish the basement, and it's, let's say it's all made out of stone and brick, and it looks ugly, and it's falling apart, deteriorating, you know, paint it.
Yes.
And I don't mean with a paintbrush, because you can't paint rocks and bricks with a paintbrush and have them stay intact.
Wouldn't work.
Get one of those $40 paint sprayers, put some paint in there, and you hold about a quart of paint, and you just, you know, tape it all off, spray your basement, so you walk down there, it looks really nice and bright. What this is doing is it's adding a lot of value.
I would say use like a battleship gray, or if you want to get the job done even quicker, go to your local hardware store, get one of the professional sprayers, look on YouTube how to use it, and that can take over, I would say, over a liter of paint, I think, at a time, and you can really get the whole room done within, I would say, an afternoon.
And speaking of the battleship gray, another thing you can do is if you have a concrete floor, sweep up that floor real good, and get yourself a paint roller and like a 4-foot pole. Paint the floor.
Yes.
Here, so imagine this: you're taking a very dingy basement. You go down there, it's lit up. You got lights. You got nice wall, maybe sprayed light color. And now your floor is all shiny. You use on the flooring, use an enamel. You know, waterproof enamel. So now you got a nice looking basement.
I reckon you also use, what was that house we had last year? Remember it had the sparkly, like Trumbull Avenue?
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, that looked real good. It looked like tile.
It looked like
until
tile.
you put your foot on it. It was concrete.
Yeah, that's something that you can do when you go into one of the stores and you mix up a gallon of paint. They can add like sparkles in there.
Yeah, like little. There can't be much more than a couple of dollars, I would think.
I would think so.
Yeah.
And then they shake the paint up, and when you roll it, it comes out and it looks like you put down new tiles.
Yeah, it looks real reflective. It looks very nice.
So you know, as I said, these are ways that what we're doing is we're telling you things that you can do to make your house look 1,000% better, not 100% better. And it's not costing a lot of money. Like, you know, paint is about maybe $30 a gallon for a good paint. You get yourself 2 gallons to do the whole spray the walls. You get another gallon for your floor.
Because motion lights are less than $20.
Yeah.
A lot of them are on sale. Buy one, get one.
Right. So therefore, you're into it for $90 there. You got another 100. Say for $150. For $150, you just added $5,000 worth of value to the basement.
Exactly, because
for $150.
I would say sometimes when you're selling your house, sometimes the basement can make it or break the deal. They'll see the basement and say, "Wow, it looks like this," or if it looks all clean up and bright, then they have the potential to move in and possibly finish the basement for their family.
The main thing, what it does is that it makes it look like a upgrade.
Yes.
Which it is an upgrade. And probably I'd say the biggest part of all of that is the labor, is you doing the work.
Oh yeah.
Because as far as the cost, it's not going to cost you. Now, hey, if you're a guy and you're sitting there watching a football game, and the time you're watching the football game, you could be down in your basement cleaning it up. Make a project out of it. If you got children, get your children involved. Say, hey, and the ones that don't live there, come and get your junk. Come and get the bicycle.
Clean out the stuff and make it look nice and clean.
Right, you know, give it to, Goodwill.
Goodwill,
something like that.
tag sale.
Donate those different items that you have down in there. Take all those boxes out of there. So these are some of the things that you can do as far as, improving your basement. Some homes have a sump pump. And if there's water that goes down in there, you have a sump pump. And what the sump pump does is it takes out excess water.
Yes.
Make sure your sump pump is plugged up.
Yes, very true.
Where the sump pump
Wasn't plugged up and water flooded the basement. So you want to make sure your sump pump is plugged up, especially after you just paint it. You don't want if there's a rainy day to start, making your paint run.
There's quite a few things, but these are the main things. Your stairs, your floors, your walls, your ceilings. Another quick fix. I went in a house about a month ago, and I could not believe the amount of cobwebs down there.
Oh yeah.
I was afraid to walk around in it.
Make sure you clean up the cobwebs. Also, the other thing you do, put an automatic sprayer down there, like $20 from Walgreens.
Oh yeah.
Every few minutes, it sprays a little spurt of good smelling, air freshener. And over time, you go down in the basement, it might smell better down there than upstairs. You might want to spend more time down there with the basement.
So these are ways in which you can improve the value of your house. So if you compare today's video along with some of the other videos that we've done for the last 3 weeks, This has been an entire series
Yes.
on how to improve, you know, your house if you're looking to resell it, if you're looking to maybe do a
Refinance or
refinance,
the appraisal comes
to
back
get
good.
the biggest value that you can from your house. And if you have an attic in your house, the same thing applies here. Main thing with the attic is if it's unfinished, go up there and clean out the junk.
Yes.
Many people take things and they start storing these items upstairs in their attic,
Mm-hmm.
and they start to accumulate. Make sure there's a handrail also going up to the attic.
Yes, handrails are important, not just
Handrails are
for safety, like you said. Some mortgages like FHA do require handrails to be functional in all parts of the house.
So make sure that you have a handrail also up, and lighting.
Yes.
The same thing with the lighting. You got the switch, or either you got the electric pull. You got the pull chain.
Yes.
And the battery. And these can be also used with motion, so that you can conserve the amount of electricity for the lighting that you use.
Exactly. As you walk by them, they turn on. You can set whether it's going to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes, then it goes right back off.
So therefore, from the top to the bottom, we've given you some ideas to improve your house. Also, when you're upstairs in the attic, check for leaks. Because if you've got a roof and you see that there's a leak, that's where it starts. You can look up and you can
Yes.
see maybe there's a leak coming in that particular attic. So you might want to check those items out also.
Yes.
Now, we've explained to you some of the things that you can do for your house. And I said I wanted to spend a little time today maybe for the renters out there, because what's happening is that we're getting a tremendous amount of people that are
Yes.
totally unprepared for looking for an apartment. If you haven't looked for an apartment in the marketplace for the last, I would even say even 3
Even
or 4
3 years, it's changed a lot. A lot of people,
You
I-
can explain a little bit about
yeah,
that,
definitely.
'cause you do a lot of the apartment rentals.
exactly. What I would say right now, I'm getting a lot of people who may have moved into their apartment in 2015, 14, 17. And what they're realizing now in this new environment we're in post-COVID, landlords are charging 2 months rent for security. That's the new standard. It used to be if you have bad credit or an eviction on your record, you know, that would be like, so what, somewhat like a punishment. I got to pay an extra month just because I may default. But now that's the standard now. Even if you have the perfect credit, they want 2 months security. And what that's doing is it's putting a shock on people. Like, wow, that's a lot of money to save up. Because if, let's say the apartment is $3,000 a month, it's a whole, let's say it's a full family house, that's $9,000 you need to bring into the closing. Even a smaller apartment, $1,300 a month, you need $3,900 to move in. And that's some people's, month and a half salary right there. So what we're experiencing is people are getting a shock to the system saying, wow, I have to probably stay put a little bit longer and save up money. Or what I'm seeing, honestly, a lot of programs in the system right now. We see a new one every day that the state and the cities are making to help people. Down payment assistance, not just for your house anymore. Now it's for your apartment. And we're seeing that more and more post-COVID.
And the programs, make sure on whatever, if you are getting some kind of down payment assistance for your rent, read the application.
Read everything about
Make
it.
sure you know what it states on there. Don't just run to the landlord and say, oh, they're paying the rent.
Guaranteed. Make sure you read the fine print on there. Make sure you talk to the person who gave you the information on the program. This to make sure, is the program have an expiration date? I see a lot of these programs have a certain date you have to find the apartment. And also questions about what condition the apartment has to be in or location. All these programs have, I'll say, their rules and their guidelines.
Not only that, once they, let's say for example, they do agree to give you the security deposit or whatever it may be, find out if you move, do you get that back, or does it have to go back to the place?
That's an important question.
To you, people don't understand that.
I see that a lot where I see some programs, they don't have a big budget or I say grant money at other programs where when the person moves out, that money has to go back to the program. It doesn't go back to the tenant. And the landlord may not realize that, give the money back to the tenant, and then they put a lien on his house. Hey, you owe us that money. That money needs to go back to this nonprofit, so we have to give it to someone else. So make sure you're abreast of everything on your program if you are using one.
Many of these programs for the tenants, where they help them with the rent as far as the rental down payment, they do not have unlimited supplies of money.
No.
Once the money is gone, that's it. So if you get an application and you're looking for an apartment, you can't dilly-dally around and decide down the road and then go out and find an apartment and come running back and say, here's my application. They may say, what's this? That money ran out a month ago.
Very true.
So you've got to, find a nice, decent apartment. We have people call looking for, 3-bedroom with a garage, with this amenity, finished basement.
First floor too. Can't walk upstairs.
Gotta have the first floor. You gotta realize there's only so many apartments that are out there, and the first floors are the ones that are the first ones.
Those are the first one to go.
First ones to go. You may have to wait 6 months to get another first floor apartment.
Exactly.
Your voucher or your security deposit may be for 2 months.
Exactly.
So by the time you find the first floor, there's no money that's left. So you have to be able to, negotiate and figure out what you're going to do. Maybe you have to take the second floor and wait until the next time around and start a little earlier and get the first floor. Maybe the second time around, that deposit that you use, as long as you keep the apartment nice, is going to come back to you. So you start 3 months earlier looking for the apartment so that you'll have something.
But remember, you're going to be in competition with people, I would say, coming out of state or maybe in state that have the money already saved up. And the landlord may say, wow, I want to work with you. You want to use a program. Nothing against the programs, but they may take longer to pay the landlord. And when they realize that, they'll say, well, I can't give you the keys until everything is paid up, whether it be 2 months security, 1 month. And large programs, they'll say they have such a demand or such a need right now that it may take longer than longer than I would say someone that has money right now.
You just hit on the point there. Realize, when you're getting something for free, or you get in your mind, you're thinking, hey, it's free, and then don't worry about it, it's coming. You have to realize that these programs that are government programs have paperwork, and they also have to go through approval.
A lot of approvals.
So you got to give it to the worker. The worker's got to give it to the supervisor.
Yep.
The supervisor has to review it. Then they've got to look and see if it applies to what your income. Then what happens is that they've got to check to see if the funds are available.
Well, how about this? You have to get the landlord to agree to fill out a W-9. Remember, this money's coming from the state, the government. It has to be reported. Your landlord must understand he has to pay taxes on this next year, as he should be, but this is definitely something you have to pay taxes on.
Right. You have to make sure that the landlord understands that the money he receives will be reported to the government at the end of the year, so that when he files his income tax, that money will be given to the government, so that there's no way in the world he can omit not receiving it and adding it to his income when he does those taxes.
Exactly.
So all of these things have to, you have to let your landlord know, right up front. And once you're approved and once everything has been set, the person in your worker does not write the check out, then it goes to someone else who has to approve the check. And maybe they only send checks out once a month.
Exactly.
So there's a delay in all of it. When you use a program that's a government program or a state program, and there's so many different programs, make sure, number one, you understand your particular Don't assume the person you're giving the form to knows the program.
Yes, that's what I would say.
The person that gets the form has not a clue, nothing, doesn't know anything about the program. So it's your responsibility to not only know that program, but to explain the benefits of the program to the landlord or to the real estate agent. You got to realize the real estate agents, they don't know these different programs. We do, because we specialize in the program.
Yes, very true.
I know my son spends a tremendous amount of time reviewing, questioning, getting all of the details on all of the different programs. But the average real estate agent out there, to be truthful, they don't know. No, they don't have a clue as to what's on that form. And what they will do is they will say to you, what type of program do you have? And you will say,
well, how about this? The real estate agent they speak to, they'll just assume that everything the tenant is telling them is true as far, it's a program, guaranteed rent to the landlord, they pay when I move in. All right, I'll tell the landlord that. Landlord goes along with it, and then they find out once the person moves in, we have about 59 days left until the payment is sent. So at that point, you have a tenant who's moved in, has the keys. At this point, you can't just tell them, can you move out for 2 more months? No, they have possession of the property, and you better hope the money comes. I mean, if it does not come, because some of these grants run out, then at that point, I will say the real estate agent probably will not get paid because he gets paid out of the deposit. And the tenant, the landlord is out 2 months of rent for the security deposit.
Well, the real estate agent gets paid from the landlord.
Exactly.
And the deposit goes to the landlord, so that the landlord keeps that security so that when you move out or if there's any repairs, he returned it to you. And then the landlord pays the real estate agent separately. However, the landlord will say to the real estate agent, well, I'm not paying you because I never got any of the money that you said was guaranteed.
But how about this? I would say, one thing I foresee coming in the future, what if someone moves in, they use a program, the program doesn't pay, but they got the keys, they live there for 2 years. When they move out, they have a legally binding lease that says that they paid a security deposit. So they could actually take the landlord to court, I would think, and say, hey, it says here I paid you a security deposit. This is a real lease. The court's going to say, well, pay her security deposit. Even though you didn't physically get one from this program, there's a lease saying you did accept one.
The only thing we're saying is that know the program.
Yes, very true.
Don't just get that piece of paper and then run to the landlord and say, hey, it's guaranteed. And remember this, nothing's guaranteed.
Well, I will also say, if you were in a privileged position to actually sit down and save some money, just go the route of saving some money,
Save your money.
save 2 months security, and you'll be ahead of the game. A lot of renters, you'll be able to possibly get an apartment even quicker than using the program.
And what we also find out is that in many cases, if the rental deposit does not work, that the individuals always come up with the money. In most cases, a lot of the tenants have the money. They just feel, why can't I use my money if I can use the
Exactly.
program? Remember one thing though, that puts you at a disadvantage for the other person that's saying, I'm not using the program, I'm using my money.
Exactly.
So you will have a much more difficult time in finding that apartment. And then what will happen is that if they run out of money and you don't find a place, now you're totally out of luck. So, do your due diligence, know your programs, study the wording in there.
Yes.
Make sure your worker explains everything in detail, because sometimes these workers, they don't know either.
Well, I was going to say, go
They just
online
wanna
too.
get you out of the room and say, yeah, don't worry, here's the form.
Exactly. All right. And in closing, I want to say something to the renters as far as, remember, I mean, renting, it shouldn't be a permanent solution. There's time, I would say it's time to own.
Yeah.
And in that news, time to own, I've been told, is coming back to Connecticut.
That's true.
It's been refunded. So give us a call if you want more information on the time to own program. And I have experience. We've actually got a couple closings with the time to own program. It's real money. It's paid out to the person to help with down payment and closing costs. So if you have any questions, give us a call at the number below or talk to us on Facebook.
Let me shout out about that. Remember, there's money coming into the state for if you're looking to purchase a house.
Yes.
They're giving up to $25,000 to people to purchase a home, and in some locations up to $50,000
Yes.
of free money to help you with the down payment and closing. So call us so you can get in on that money
Exactly.
before it runs out.
Definitely.
So until next week, Charles Scott Sr.,
Charles Scott Jr.
Jr., God bless.
Amen.